Okay. Yeah. Hey, it's March. I'm wearing my green because it's St. Patrick's Day month.
You are.
I am.
That's fantastic. I'm not.
I wanted to be festive today.
I'm wearing gray. I'm feeling very cloudy today, apparently.
Hey, well, around here, that'd be fitting. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's around here or like in the area?
No. Yeah. Our geographical location. Yes.
Yeah. No. Gotcha.
So March. So we're going to talk about gold and a little bit of the what drives gold prices and some fun other little facts and tidbits.
Yeah. I mean, there's been definitely some gold in the news recently, whether you talk about the Olympics and everybody talking about like gold medals or like go for the gold and all that stuff. And then obviously there's some stuff happening in the world politically that could possibly be talking about some of this stuff, right? So you were doing some good research on gold.
Yeah.
And,
we can start with some of your favorites, some statistics or some numbers.
Yay.
So yeah, gold today, when we're recording this, is not at its all-time high, but it's up there.
Really?
Gold at its all-time high, I think, was at the end of last year, was at $5,608.35 an ounce.
Wow.
Today, it is $5,122.30, which is even a few dollars lower than what I found out when I did this research yesterday. So it's going down a little bit, but we're still pretty high comparative to the max,
So how does that work? So if I take my 1 ounce gold ring into the local jeweler shop, do they hand me $5,000?
Well, so that's spot pricing. So at $5,122.30, that is the going rate for 1 ounce. So that's before fees or whatever other money that whoever is selling you that piece of gold wants to tack on. But your base price is that spot.
But that's pure gold,
that's
though,
right?
Pure
gold. Yes,
okay.
24 karat pure gold. Yes.
So most of the jewelry and stuff you have in your house, even if it says 24 karat gold, is not really 100% through and through 24 karat gold.
Yeah, I mean, it could be gold plated. Yeah,
because otherwise it's going to be so malleable that it would you could crush it in your fingers.
Yeah,
right?
it's an alloy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that if you have a 1 ounce gold ring, don't expect to get $5,000 for it, though. Right?
True.
That's what you're saying. Okay.
True.
Gotcha. But still, that's not bad.
No.
I mean, that's a pretty decent chunk of change.
I don't know. I did not find the date, but the lowest price for gold was $34.83 an ounce. So, silver's even higher than that. So,
wow. Yeah. Okay. So why so high? I guess that's if it's. I mean, my guess is that $34 was probably back in the 1800s sometime. Whenever they
I would assume,
or something. But even adjusted for inflation, I'm sure that it's not $5,000.
Yeah. So gold, unlike other commodities, isn't 100% based on supply and demand. There are other factors into it. What people put a value of gold on. Psychological effects during economic downturns. So even when the economy is down, the prices of gold tend to keep going up.
Mm-hmm. Mostly because we find value in it no matter what. Is that what? Yeah. Essentially.
Yeah.
There's gold in them there hills, so we're just gonna find it valuable no matter what the economy.
Right. As people are always going to buy gold. So as the buying power of the U.S. dollar decreases, it's going to take more money to buy that same amount of gold, so the price of gold is going to go up.
Kind of like Bitcoin.
No. Yes. And it is.
No, gold is not like Bitcoin. I don't want to give that impression.
No.
But it's.
But there is a degree of supply and demand too. I mean, it's not it's a finite resource, even though we have recently found a massive vein of gold, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I read that headline too in China, right?
Yeah. Under another vein of gold. Yeah.
Because of course, it's
stacked up
deeper, right?
Yes.
But yeah, that's crazy. Now, I guess it is supply and demand to a certain degree, but like you said, we're always going to find value in it. But at what point does the value decrease because there's just so much of it that everybody can have some?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we use it in so many different things too. I mean,
that's true. It's not just jewelry or gold bars. I mean, we use
electronics
and things like that. Yeah. It's like helium. I mean, helium prices are going through the roof because it's a finite resource, and companies use helium to create the clean rooms and everything that they use to make the electronics. So
I remember years ago, whenever you couldn't even get a helium balloon in a store.
Yeah,
because they were kind of
and you can't apparently you can't artificially manufacture helium either.
That's interesting.
Which is or I guess if you can, it's so cost prohibitive that it's not worth.
Oh yeah,
that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
But the same thing for gold. I mean, medieval people were trying forever to try to find a chemical reaction that would turn lead into gold, and
it didn't work. Yeah. Archimedes. Yeah.
So how much is this thing worth supposedly? Assuming today's prices,
$83 billion.
$83 billion.
$83 billion.
Wow.
Yes.
The Chinese government's probably thrilled with that idea.
Yeah, hopefully they don't sell it all at one time, huh?
Well, I guess from what I was reading, though, China is one of the world's largest gold producers.
Oh.
And despite the fact that they are one of the largest gold producers, they still import more gold than they can mine.
Really? I guess they're probably huge. They're huge electronic manufacturers too, so they're using it, using it in more applications than what they can mine.
Yeah, but I guess this is probably going to put a little damper on that. So,
well, or electronics will be a little cheaper.
Yeah, maybe. So what else? So what are we talking? So when it comes to gold, when people buy gold, like if I go on and I get, I don't know, my investment portfolio and I add gold to it, am I literally buying gold or am I buying into the gold price?
You're buying into the gold price. You're buying an exchange traded fund.
Okay.
And that could be a company that is investing in bullion, or it could be a company investing in the machinery that it takes to mine this gold. Anything that's gold related.
The mining companies,
and
things like that too. So it's not literally just the gold; it's everything
that has to do with mining.
It surrounds that gold industry. Then, right?
Yep. It's like it's a mutual fund, I guess, type thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, So I think that for the most part, though, very few people are buying gold bars. I mean, you see that stuff in movies where they break into a safe and there's gold bars everywhere. I don't know. Wasn't there something in the State of the Union just recently where they were talking about whether or not they should open up Fort Knox and check to make sure the gold's all still there, or some ridiculous thing? I mean, it's just, but I'm sure
gold.
It is.
I bought gold online before.
Have you?
Yeah, one of these. I mean, there's like big box, gold exchanges and stuff like that. So, yeah, I've bought gold and silver, and I was a Iron Man fan, so I bought palladium just to say I had palladium. Yeah, just a little bit. It's pretty enough.
So that goes into the thing, right?
Yeah,
It's the power source. Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm a little bit of an Iron Man person, but I'm not deep into it. I don't know all the.
Yeah, when I bought palladium, it was around the same price as gold back then. So.
Okay.
It was pretty pricey, and I was not buying ounces of gold. I was buying grams of gold and these little precious metals.
Yeah, I guess people don't realize too how much an ounce really is. I mean, an ounce is not very much when you're buying, say, a high C drink or something like that. I remember whenever I would get
heavy.
Gold's like 6 ounces of like high C or something.
Well, that's fluid ounces too. Yeah.
But an ounce of gold is a lot more than what you typically think it is.
Yeah, because it's really dense.
Yeah.
My little grams are like, if you took your pinky nail, that's about what a gram of gold is.
And we're gonna do conversion. How many grams to an ounce?
Isn't it 16?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I don't know, actually. Yeah. Don't put that in. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about jewelry and stuff, because I think that's where a lot of people really are when it comes to the gold, right?
Well, a type of jewelry. So we just had the Winter Olympics. So the gold medals in the Winter Olympics are not actually gold. Not fully gold anymore. Not fully gold.
Wait a minute.
So they're no longer made of solid gold. The last pure solid gold medal was in the 1912 Summer Olympic Games in Stockholm, Sweden.
So we're talking 112 years ago.
Yeah, because at the current price or yesterday's price, whenever I did this part of the research, if you would melt down a Olympic gold medal now, It's about $2,500 value.
Okay.
About $1,011 in gold now.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is still a lot of value to an Olympic gold medal.
But we're still talking of, what is that, a fifth of an ounce then of gold?
Yeah.
It's on these gold medals then, right? Because you're saying an ounce is $5,000.
Right.
Yeah. So that's not much. So it's mostly silver.
It's mostly silver, yeah.
So see, all the silver medalists can just sit there and say, you know what?
We're almost the same, yeah.
You really want a silver medal as well. You just played it in gold, but I have, mine is 92% of what I thought I earned. Yours is only 6% of what I earned.
Yes.
What about bronze?
Oh, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know what the going rate for bronze is right
I don't know what the going rate is, but I will tell you, I did look it up. They do make bronze medals out of bronze.
Do they?
Yes. It's mostly copper and tin, which is what bronze is.
Yeah.
So bronze medals are bronze medals, silver medals are silver medals, gold medals are copycat silver medals.
Yeah. It's kind of like the penny that's not actually copper. It's zinc and copper type thing,
Yeah.
It no longer exists anymore, so I don't know why I even brought that up.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah.
I bring up stuff that doesn't exist all the time. It doesn't matter. I also looked up too. I found that in the Olympics that were held in Paris, the Summer Olympics that were held in Paris a couple of years ago, they actually included a very small amount of iron in the medals from the Eiffel Tower.
No way. I was going to say, just to make it a little cheaper, but that's really cool.
Yeah, it was iron flakes or something like that from the Eiffel Tower that they included in the medal when they made the Olympic medals. So everybody that won a medal, medal, at the Paris Olympics has a tiny bit of the Eiffel Tower's iron in there.
That's really neat.
Which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah. That is cool.
Okay, so what else can we talk about when it comes to gold? Because what else did you find?
Well, like I said, we're coming up on St. Patrick's Day. So
yes.
Did you ever, you know what the story of the leprechaun and his pot of gold actually was?
I actually don't.
Okay, I didn't either.
I ate lots of Lucky Charms whenever I was a kid. That's about the closest I can get. And they were indeed magically delicious.
Yes.
But see, now I'm gonna sidetrack you here though, because let's talk Lucky Charms.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, wait, sure. Okay. Now I'm not a cereal guy, so I probably don't know whatever you're gonna say.
Well, I was gonna ask you what were your marshmallows? Because there's a gap, an age gap between the two of us, and I think your marshmallows were different than my marshmallows.
So I remember the rainbow. And I remember a pot of gold.
Yeah, no. See, no, there's no pot of gold in mine or anything like that. Mine was red hearts, orange stars, yellow moons, green clovers.
Okay.
Period.
Heart of stars and horseshoes, clovers and blue moons, pots of gold and rainbows, and the red balloons.
Yeah, and see, you've got an entirely different list than what. Okay, I think maybe there were some stars or hearts in there that were the same, but I had those. Those were my marshmallows. Your marshmallows are different.
So did you?
And arguably better.
Did you? Well, I don't know about that, but did you eat the marshmallows first or last, or did you eat it all together?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I wasn't a cereal guy, but I would always save my marshmallows for last.
Yeah, I think I probably did that whenever I was younger, for sure. I think as I got a little older and started to age out of things like Lucky Charms, I would sort of more of a mix, because I think that it was just a sugar sludge by the time that you were done.
Yeah.
If you left the marshmallows for the end.
Yeah. But I don't like soggy cereal, so it was a twofold. I would get rid of the sog from the cereal first, and then I had the marshmallow treat at the very end.
There you go.
Yeah.
I know my wife's brother, he liked the marshmallows so well that a couple of years back we found that they sold just the marshmallows in a bag.
Yep.
And she bought 2 or 3 bags of them for him for his birthday. He was in his glory, and he's in his 40s.
Hey, it brings you back to your childhood.
It did not matter. You know what? There comes a point in your life, I will say, there comes a point in your life where even if it's like kids cereal or something like that, you just don't care anymore. If that's what you want, you just go buy it. Yeah. And there's no more stigma associated with it. If I'm 50 years old and I want to eat Lucky Charms, that's what I'm going to do.
Hey, yeah, if you want to be a kid for a little bit, that's how you do it.
Well, here's the other crazy thing. We were comparing stuff. What did we get? We got around Halloween. Okay. We got the monster cereals.
Okay.
Right? Like the Boo
Berries and all that. Yeah.
The Count Chocula's and stuff. And we were kind of laughing because in our cereal cupboard we also had I think it was Raisin Nut Bran or something like that, right? And we actually took the two boxes at one point and we compared the ingredients. Believe it or not, the Count Chocula was healthier for you than the Raisin Nut Bran was.
I believe it. Yeah, I can't tell you. So when my wife was pregnant, she had gestational diabetes, so we were watching everything sugar. We would spend, I don't know, I think one day we probably spent a half hour in the cereal aisle at like Walmart, just comparing cereals. And oh my God, she had like a certain numbers that she couldn't go above for, the different macros and stuff like that. And I don't think we walked out with a box of cereal because she couldn't eat any of it.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Yeah,
it is a lot. But anyway, so I took us off the path.
Okay,
Tell us about Leprechauns.
Yes. So the original story for the Leprechauns was it was two poor farmers, a husband and wife farmer, and they were pulling their crops one day, and they pulled their last carrot, and when they pulled their carrot, out popped a leprechaun.
Okay,
and leprechaun,
like you do,
and the leprechaun said, if you let me go, I'll grant you a wish. And they said, okay, we'll let you go. And they started wishing, but they didn't stop wishing. They wished for this and that and this and that. And the leprechaun was getting frustrated. So he eventually said, okay, we're going to change this. I can give you everything that you want, or you can have everything you want if you find my pot of gold. And it's at the end of the rainbow. So the greedy farmers said, oh, that's a deal. They let the leprechaun go. The leprechaun went on his way, and the farmers chased after the end of the rainbow that they never could catch. So you can never get the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Interesting.
So the moral of the story was, you got to work for your money. You got to, don't just. It's not always easy. You can't just wish for things. And they magically appear. You work for it.
That's a really fantastic story. Especially, I thought you were going to tell me it was some sort of a horrible little leprechaun like in the horror movies that they.
Yeah, those are my favorites. Yeah,
that's a nasty leprechaun.
That is a nasty leprechaun. Yeah.
No, that's cool. It's got a Rumpelstiltskin vibe to it.
Yeah,
the story. I think.
Yeah. I like the messaging. I mean, the moral of the story type thing.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think that it's true. I mean, the world is full of people with quick fixes, whether it's weight loss or earning money or, HGTV telling you that you can remodel your entire house in just 2-hour episodes.
Yeah. With no budget. Yeah.
And people buy into that because everybody wants that quick fix.
Yeah.
Right. And the reality is that unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, there is almost never a quick fix to those things. So you do have to work hard. You do have to, be smart with your money. You do have to learn how to save before you spend. And all the things that we tend to preach on this show,
especially if you're going to buy gold, you better start saving.
Yeah.
We're getting pretty high.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. But, okay. So I guess I'm not going to go home and dig through all of my old jewelry and stuff. It's probably not really going to get me a whole lot.
No, but I don't like cereal, but I'm going to have some Lucky Charms.
I like
Lucky Charms. All right. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, thanks. You too.
All right. This podcast focuses on having valuable conversations on various topics related to banking and financial health. The podcast is grounded in having open conversations with professionals and experts with the goal of helping to take some of the mystery out of financial and related topics, as learning about financial products and services can help you make more informed financial decisions. Please keep in mind that the information contained within this podcast and any resources available for download from our website or other resources relating to Bank Chats is not intended and should not be understood or interpreted to be financial advice. The hosts, guests, and production staff of Bank Chats expressly recommend that you seek advice from a trusted financial professional before making financial decisions. The hosts of Bank Chats are not attorneys, accountants, or financial advisors, and the program is simply intended as one source of information. The podcast is not a substitute for a financial professional who is aware of the facts and circumstances of your individual situation. Thank you for listening. Please check out our full library of episodes, which can be found on the AmeriServ.com website. You can also download or stream the podcast from your favorite podcast app.